everyone. Lauren Culp here, publisher and CEO at CUInsight.com, and I'm bringing you a 3 questions video interview today with a very special guest. I'm so excited to be joined by Janclaes, the president at Nymbus CUSO. John, thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy life here to join me.
Hey, Lauren, I'm glad to join you again. How have you been?
I have been doing super well. Really excited to get some nice weather finally here in Wisconsin.
As you can tell, we got some good weather here in Temecula, California, too. The fog is burning off, and we'll warm up to a cozy 85 or so today. So,
Oh, that
yeah,
sounds
it's
ideal.
summertime.
It is. All right. Well, I know you have been super busy over the last year. You were sharing you've had the opportunity to speak with so many different executive leaders and teams across the country. Can you share for our audience what are some of maybe the top insights or learnings that you're hearing from those conversations?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So about 50 conversations in the last 18 months, meeting with executive teams, Lauren, all over the country. Probably a couple takeaways. One is that about 25% of the CEOs that I've met with have been new in their job, newly minted in the last 18 to 24 months. And their backgrounds are really amazing. This is kind of a focus on sales and marketing, digital competencies, these kinds of things. So, kind of the new breed of CEO, it's happening. You can see it out there. And the ideas they have are really amazing. Certainly everyone's interested now in growth, right? Like, how are we going to grow and moving or evolving, not 100% away from branching, but more and more digital is becoming important and kind of a finer point on what do we mean by digital and that kind of whole thing. So that learning's out there. The other one too is that we're on the backside of COVID and capital is strong. So, our big credit unions have strong capital positions and they've got the money to do this kind of transformational investments in technology. So those are all kind of some of the takeaways, some of the high level stuff.
That is incredible. And I know one of the cool things about your role too is that you get some opportunities to teach around the country as well. And I know there have been a couple of exciting teaching opportunities you've had recently. What would you say, or maybe an inside look for our listeners as to some of those things you've been up to?
Yeah. So, executive education is a passion of mine, whether it's through, and the credit union movement's got many great, venues for this. We have our conferences and we have Qs, but also too is Western CUNA Management School. I'm a graduate of Western CUNA Management School and now I'm teaching there, and we're teaching 2 courses. The first one is on digital leadership. And I'm co-teaching that with Dr. George Westerman from MIT. And we're really saying, hey, technology is essential, no doubt, but it's not sufficient without leadership to kind of guide the investment and push those things ahead. And so we're co-teaching that class together. And it's great. We taught it virtually last year, but now we're on campus this year. And it's just palpable how much better it is when you teach it in person. The other course that I'm teaching is risk-taking. In this world today, we need to kind of lean into risk, but how do you do that, right? As we get ready to go, are there things that you can do to de-risk implementation? And so I teach a course on that.
Very cool. Well, I know quite a few folks who have gone through Western CUNA Management School. I hear glowing reviews all the time. It's so cool to hear about some of the teaching that you're able to do there as well. I know lots of folks will probably be interested in that. One of the other things that you were telling me about, so I know you recently spoke at the CU Leadership Conference on specifically the 3 skills that executives need to really focus on the future. So important. What are those 3 skills? Or can you share for us a recap of that session?
Yeah, of course, there's so many to choose from, but it feels like there's 3, Lauren, that are kind of emerging that are really essential. One is what I call always on strategy. We have our long-term strategic planning that we do, and we need to keep that up. But I think the time has come where we need to augment it with kind of always on watching what's on the business environment for these kind of new opportunities that are coming our way so that we can seize them. And so this is kind of a new way of building a portfolio that's kind of dynamic that we're always looking at. I think the second one is once you have that portfolio, you need to make sure that you're picking some projects there that are transformational. It's great to modernize, some of either our branches or our technology, but if they're not transforming and moving us into the new growth engines, then you have to be kind of mindful of that. So selection is real important from that portfolio. And then the final 3rd skill is something that I'm spending a lot of time thinking about, and this is partnerships. The way you're going to get done this portfolio of capital intensive projects is more and more with partnerships outside the organization. right? And so I'm actually writing a book called The Partnership Advantage, saying, how could we put these ideas together into a practice and a discipline so that we have really good outcomes through our partnerships, almost kind of doing a shift from a vendor mindset to a partnership mindset. And so, like I said, I've been working on that for about a year. Can't wait for it to come out. First quarter of next year, the book will be out. So we're on track for that. So that's fun. It's a good project.
That is so exciting. Well, as soon as the book drops, you'll have to let us know, and we'll be sure to put it out there in the world. I know. So speaking from that partnership angle, Nymbus CUSO has been such a great partner to CUInsight, to so many credit unions across the country. As we wrap up our conversation, I'm curious, John, do you have any final thoughts for our audience today, or any final asks of our listeners?
It's one that I've offered before, but it still rings true, Lauren. This idea of progress over perfection,
Mm.
right? Go ahead and just make some moves. And sometimes you may falter and you may not have a perfect implementation, but it's the progress and the learning that we get in that sets us up for even a better, set of circumstances going forward. So progress over perfection.
I love that. And to your point earlier, taking risks is so critical for us to actually be able to move the business forward. So, John, it is always a pleasure. I know you've got quite a bit going on, so I'll let you get back to it. But thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Hopefully, we'll run into each other in person soon. I've got my fingers crossed. And in the meantime, enjoy that nice weather out there.
Hey, thank you. And nothing would make me happier to meet you in person soon. Okay. Thanks
Awesome.
for having me on today, Lauren. Good to
Thanks
talk
so
with
much,
you.
John. All right. And thanks to all of our listeners and our audience today for joining us. And we'll be back again next time.